Cyrus the Great is probably one of the more underrated commanders in Rise of Kingdoms. So in this video, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to expertise him. I'm going to talk about why I think he is going to be so good to use. I'm going to give you some combos you might not have thought of, and of course, talents to slay. So let's get started. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and this video has been sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms. And I am expertising Cyrus the Great to include in my murder ball, possibly for 5 marches, but definitely when I bring 6 marches out onto the field. So I'm going to stage the video as follows, and you can use the timestamps in the description to go wherever you want. First, I'm going to talk about why he is probably underrated. Then I'm going to go actually expertise him, money where my mouth is. Then I'll give you the very best pairings. And finally, I'll give you some talents if you're using him as the primary so that you can start to get a lot of value using him in the open field. I have done this before, even when he was not maxed. And that is perhaps the first reason why people need to look at this commander and say, wait a minute. For the open field, this dude does a lot that is really good. He has actually got all skills that are good in the open field. And only one of them will kick into gear when you're getting targeted. It's reactive, and reactive stuff makes me a little uncomfortable. But let's talk about the things he does really well. Although Cyrus the Great is missing area of effect damage, he has several very important debuffs. The first makes it so that the target that you hit will take additional damage over time effects. This is really good on commanders like Honda Tarakatsu, who does have a damage over time effect whenever the active skill is used. Also, Ramses is one of the better damage over time commanders. There are several that really benefit a lot from this debuff. But that's not all. He's got March Speed, which is very important for the open field. And more importantly, he has a debuff here that is instant proc. So there's a 10% chance whenever you are attacking something that the skill damage that target will deal is reduced by 40%. Wow. I mean, that is a major debuff. That is actually a catastrophic debuff. Now, we'll have to do some amount of testing to see exactly how this stacks with a commander like William, who removes all bonus skill damage. But my understanding is that with the two of them paired together, well, not paired together, but in the same area, hitting the same thing, William will remove all bonus skill damage that the commander has, and then Cyrus will reduce the skill damage by an additional 40%. I think that's how that works. But either way, this is a powerful set of effects here. Otherwise, the downfall of Cyrus here is that he is missing tankiness. This is why people probably are not using him, is that he has only attack. And sure, he does get a little bit of defense from his expertise skill, 20% for 3 seconds. He also generates a lot of rage here. So Cyrus is a rage engine that is very powerful. The last ingredient I want to talk about for why he's probably underrated is that he does have instant proc damage. In fact, it's a damage over time effect. This will benefit from his active skill, but it's going to do 250 damage factor per second for 3 seconds. Okay, 750 damage factor, that's pretty cool. But also, he has an area of effect damage here that is also damage over time when he is being attacked. He does this reactive damage hitting up to 3 troops that does 300 damage factor per second for 2 seconds. I think that's all pretty strong. Reactive damage, instant proc damage, debuffs, and a little bit of defense, but not much. A little bit of rage gen, not too much. The downfall, again, is that he's missing a lot of defensive stats, so you need to pair him with someone tanky if you go and expertise him, which I am going to do in this video. What commanders might you pair with that are sort of tanky here? And I have a few options. The one that I'm going to do that you probably didn't expect is something that Cortex and I have been sort of mulling over for quite a while now, which is that I think the way to go is to run Gilgamesh primary and Cyrus secondary. This is something you probably didn't see coming, but I want a way to bring Gilgamesh into my murder ball. Why is that? He's got a health reduction. He reduces his own damage taken from normal attacks by 15%, and he makes a target take 15% more skill damage. Plus, he's got a ton of health, 30% health. So he is actually a really synergistic pair with Cyrus because Gilgamesh brings some tankiness, Cyrus brings attack and mobility and a lot of instant proc damage. And the two of them together have some insane debuffs. Like, actually, you were talking about reducing the health of the target by 30%, making them take 20% more damage over time, and reducing their skill damage by 40%, and making them take 15% more skill damage. Oh, and if they heal, they take a lot of damage too. Like, bringing both of them into the murder ball is actually very exciting. The more classic pair, however, is going to be a Cyrus primary and Ramses secondary. And the reason I say this is a classic pair is that Cyrus makes the target take more damage over time. And if I can find Ramses here, what Ramses is going to do with his active skill is apply a damage over time effect. Ramses is very tanky, obviously. Well, I mean, I actually would assume that Cyrus Ram is maybe a little more tanky than Gilgamesh Ram. However, I will point out that there's still a lot of attack stats coming in here, so it's a very punchy march with good skill damage taken reduction and actually a little bit of healing as well, which now is vulnerable if you bump into another Gilgamesh on the field. He does have some defense that procs when he's getting attacked, but assuming that you are bringing a commander like Nevsky into your murder ball, all of a sudden, Ramses loses a lot of viability. And the reason I say that is that the defense effect from Ramses is not going to apply if the Nevsky effect is already active. The Nevsky effect will almost certainly be the stronger of the two. It should be 45% defense reduction, assuming you're bringing many marches. And therefore, what happens is Ramses goes to apply his defense down effect and nothing happens, which kind of sucks. Sure, it's just one debuff, and maybe I'm over-optimizing for that, but cutting the health of the target by 30% with Gilgamesh seems really good to me. I don't know about you. So Cyrus Ramses is a classic pair, and there was one other really strong pair that I kind of wish... I mean, I'll test it. I'll play around with it. But that pair is going to be Cyrus with Esong. I bet you didn't see that coming. Now, this is something that, okay, maybe you would have seen it coming if you've been in my streams recently, and Cortex and I have been talking about this, but the crazy thing about Cyrus and Esong paired together is that Cyrus has 3 different skills that do skill damage. Isn't that crazy? His active skill and 2 passives. And what does Esong do? Oh, I don't know. Boost skill damage by 50%. So this is like the combination that's just like 100% in on skill damage. And this is one of the few exceptions where I feel like the skill damage accessory plus literally every other way you could squeeze out skill damage would be insane. And I think the only reason this combo is viable is that it's probably a bit of a glass cannon. I mean, it has no tankiness other than the fact that Esong just got a relic, and that has 10% defense. I mean, the Cyrus and Esong combo is better than it's really ever been because it got the defense boost that it didn't have before from the relic on Esong. And it's even got a skill damage boost from the relic. Oh my god. So I think those are the top 3 Cyrus combos. There are almost certainly other Cyrus combos that you could look at. And the fact that he has a rage engine means that you could kind of look around and come up with probably some interesting options for what you might pair together. But for those reasons, I think that my murder ball is going to look as follows. If I were to get into a fight with 6 marches, and I don't know that I will at this point in the KVK, but I've been using Guan Leo, Nevsky William, Nebu with Esong, Amanatori, and Artemisia paired together, and I made a dedicated video about why Trajan Mulan is almost certainly the Trajan pairing at this moment in time that you should be using. And my 6th march here becomes this Gilga Cyrus march. Gilga in this instance is the primary because I want him to apply his health down as fast as possible so that hopefully he applies the health down effect and then all my secondary commanders are having skill damage onto my target while it has reduced health. That would be the goal. And then hopefully we're generating enough rage by virtue of having the Cyrus generating extra rage that Gilgamesh maybe fires off his active skill before all the other primary commanders for the 2nd round so that I get that health down effect and then boom, I hit him with a ton of skill damage. I think this would be a combo that almost certainly warrants using the Horn of Fury to try to make the rage gen go even higher. And I've proven in a number of videos that the more insane your rage engine is, the more damage you will get. And so your instinct might be to have less rage producing effects, but you generally want more. The only weird thing about this particular murder ball is that you are actually capped on 220 rage per turn. That's something that was really brought to light by John Wick and made that information very public. And so now that we know that information, I mean, I am generating 50 per second from Trajan and 50 per second from William and also 50 per second from Cyrus. Like, I don't, like, and 50 per proc on a Horn of Fury. Like, I don't know how many more rage effects you need, which brings us to the talents. And that's why I was talking about that. Because if we get a look at the talents here, there are two, I think, very strong and viable builds if you're going to use Cyrus. The first is the build I intend to use, and this is Archer Clarity. I think that's what I called it, right? Archer Clarity. I call it Archer Clarity because of this talent over here. Clarity gives you an extra 6% skill damage after using an active skill. Cyrus has so many ways to do skill damage that boosting his skill damage, it has to be the way to go. I am very tempted to instead get the Rage, but with my particular Murder Ball generating as much Rage as it already does, I'm inclined to believe that just boosting my skill damage in general is the better play. I don't know for sure. This is the build I think is probably the best build. But the other build I think is worthy of doing some testing is just a full skill tree build. And the reason is what I was talking about earlier. The faster your rage engine is, then the more you actually benefit by generating more rage. And this is especially true if you are using a combination where you are trying to fire off your active skills early. So for that like Gilgamesh combination I'm exploring, I might consider this sort of a talent tree as well if I buy into that theory that I really urgently want to fire off my active skill sooner so that I get a benefit. And that might actually be the case. So, I mean, you can hear my indecision here. I am a little bit torn between these two builds, but I think these two builds are the way you go with a Cyrus primary. And I will say that there is one other talent here you could strongly consider. In fact, I think it's important that you look at, which is this one right over here, Latent Power. This makes it so that your damage over time effects do more damage. That's really good. It's not the same as boosting all skill damage. Like the active skill on Cyrus doesn't do damage over time, so this won't affect it. But it will affect two of Cyrus's skills, which do damage over time. It's the reactive damage and the instant proc damage. And if you're pairing with Ramses, it also boosts Ramses' damage. So I think that if you're using the Cyrus-Ramses combo, you almost certainly need to find a way to get Latent Power. And already you can see in this particular build, there's 2 points free, so that's fairly easy to just slice these 2 points off to the side over here and to put them into Latent Power. And then you'd have to pick, do you want arrows knocked when you get super low, boosting your attack? Or do you want your normal attack boosted? I would probably get rid of the one that makes it so you do more when you get low, because hopefully you're not letting your march get completely wrecked all the time, and you shouldn't get too much benefit from this anyways. So I'd probably carve that off and drop that in for Latent Power. And I personally think that Naked Rage is too risky. I appreciate boosting all your skill damage, but I think it's a bit too risky for my liking, making it so that you're also taking lots of skill damage. It's just feels like you could really be on the receiving end of a proper beatdown, especially because Cyrus just doesn't have a lot of tankiness. So that's the reason, by the way, that I'm expertising Cyrus, which I realize, Chisgule, go expertise him already, buddy. To do that, I actually am going to open up a bunch of sovereign keys because my sovereign keys are about to lose a lot of value. There are barely any commanders in here anymore that I need. So let's rip open some sovereign keys. Bet you weren't expecting that. Maybe I'll put it in the title of the video, but let's get going on these sovereign keys. See if I can actually get some Cyrus the Great, and then I'll just invest in them already. And as far as the commanders go that you can get from these keys, I think Cyrus and Chandragupta are like the only two I need. So here we go. 90 of these keys. Well, 91. I bet you I am going to get, maybe if I'm lucky, 4 sculptures of Cyrus. I don't know why I even think this is important to do, given that I just realized I'm probably only getting 4 sculptures, but whatever. Already I got 2, what is that, Khan, getting turned into currency and a bunch of other stuff that I guess the resources are relevant to me. And, okay, a bunch of commanders still I don't need. Alexander the Great, Artemisia, and Tommy, those are already maxed, so that becomes currency. I guess I could turn those into more sovereign keys if I wanted. I'm not sure that I do. And then, hey, I got 1 Cyrus sculpture. Okay. And then William, Edward, Takeda, and I guess that's Nebu get converted into currency. All right. Man, this is ridiculous. Here we go. Come on. And, okay. Oh, I get Moctezuma sculptures. I forgot he was in here. I forgot he existed. I got 1 Moctezuma sculpture, Khan, Edward of Woodstock, and Tommy. Cool. And an 8-hour healing speed up's actually certainly relevant. I can do this 5 more times. Come on. Give me Cyrus. Hey! 1 more Cyrus. That's 2. 2 universals I've saved myself here, plus 3 Alexander the Greats get converted into currency, and then some resources and some experience tomes. Let's freaking go. What do we got? And, okay, 3 Cyrus. Dude, I'm going to be on target with my, like, what did I guess? 4? 5 Cyrus guess here. And then 4 more, I guess, sculptures get converted to currency. 2 William, 2 Edward. Okay. We're doing this thing, baby. Open up 10 more. And what do we get? Come on. Okay, 0. Nebu, and then that's Saladin, Ramses, and Alexander the Great all becoming currency in the shop. Smash this again. We got 21 of these left. And there it is, 4. Did I guess 4? I can't remember what I guessed, but I think I was like spot on there. And then, boom, Takeda and also Alexander the Great. 15-hour training speed's kind of nice. Okay, and then the final 11 of these sovereign keys. Oh, I'm up to 5 Cyrus sculptures. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Saladin and Tommy as well becomes currency. And then 1 more that I just open up here. And, okay, Guan Yu becomes more currency. It is tempting to go into the shop and convert everything into more keys. Like, I could get, how many more keys? 40 more keys? Do I want 40 plus more keys? I don't think that 40 more keys is quite... Is it going to get me enough to the guaranteed outcome at the end? I don't know that it will. This is what do I do? I'm honestly kind of torn between just snapping off the universals and calling that a win and trying somehow to get to the maximum number of these key openings. If I get another 50 keys, which I can certainly do, that puts me at 160 of the keys opened. Plus, I'll get another 24 over the course of the KVK. So I only need like 14 more keys at that point, and I can get to the 200 and get, I guess, a guaranteed set of Chandragupta sculptures. I mean, I think it's just more entertaining if I go for keys, even though I don't necessarily think this is the right thing to do. I've done it. I mean, there's no going back now. Okay, please be good. Please give me Cyrus, please. Okay, that's a Chandragupta sculpture, and then 200 more currency back. Let's go. I figured I would get more of the currency back, right? Which I then have to just turn into more coins. Another 100 currency, some resources, some speed ups. This might have been a big mistake. Okay, maybe should have just took the universals, and... Okay, more currency. Tommy, Takeda, and stars and a tiny amount of resources. Maybe this was a bad idea, Cheesy Pants. What do we get? No sculptures. Awkward. Speed ups and resources and more currency. And then I can turn this into more. So I can actually do a bunch more. I open 10. And what do I get? Full Saladin. That's worth 500 currency to me, right? Okay. Banana helmet. Plus, I get Trajan. Plus, I get Attila. So that becomes more currency, which means I turn this into more coins, right? And I just keep opening. This is kind of like the go infinite strategy to eventually get to the end of this, I guess. I mean, I guess I just keep doing this. Oh my God, I can do 28 more. That's crazy. Okay. What's happening right now? I can't believe I'm just going to like push all the way through this. Maybe I just get 10 Cyrus sculptures in just a minute here. Like I'm on the verge of actually just having turned 50 keys into like 100 keys. Okay, here we go. Open again. No Cyrus, man. But I can do certainly 1 more key. I think I'm going to get there. I think I'm actually going to get to 200 and cash it in for Cyrus. And then expertise Cyrus. That's probably what I do here. This was a backwards way of doing this, but it's actually happened. I kind of can't believe this. I think I just do it. I want Cyrus now. I may as well just like get the sculptures now, right? Right? Well, this was weird. My choices were weird here. Theoretically, I could just wait 6 days, but I don't know. I said this was an expertise video, so I'm money where my mouth is. Okay, more currency. And then I guess any excess currency I just save for later or cash in. What the heck? Okay, here it is. And now I get Cyrus. What a weird world, man. Okay. Okay. I get the sculptures. Claim it. So I think the strategy of going for it there was totally worth. Like, that paid off, didn't it? Confirm. That was Cyrus, not Nebu, right? They are right next to each other. They're both very bearded. Gonna be kind of awkward if I chose wrong, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. And now I actually go expertise the commander. So here we go. Cyrus the Great. Skills. Yes, it was the correct commander. So I got 15 Cyrus sculptures out of that. That's pretty good, actually. That really kind of worked out. Plus, I got all the other stuff along the way. Those sovereign keys, that was really good. 50 sculptures. A low investment risk here. This turns out I don't like him, which I don't think is going to be the case. Bada boom. Cyrus the Great is now expertise, baby. If you enjoyed this video, throw a like on here and consider subscribing. I will be back probably tomorrow with some testing to see, is he actually the better commander to be using? Is this Gilgamesh-Cyrus combo worth it? Is it good? Do I like it? So again, subscribe if you want to see that. Also, if you want to see my dedicated video about Gilgamesh, I'll have a card up in the top showcasing why I think he is such a strong commander, or just you want to know what I think some of the best open field marches are. Heck, I got a video for that too. That card will be up in the top. And until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies.